Good evening. I was moved by Rachel's presentation, and it reminded me that over the last 78 weeks, we've struggled with our very humanity while facing this pandemic. 43 months ago, when the Forbes Fund's Board of Directors selected me as the new president and CEO, under the leadership of Scott Lamy and now the leadership of Dr. Humphrey, we embarked upon a tremendous journey, a vision to optimize the nonprofit sector in a way never thought of, to have it function as an ecosystem that functioned at the micro, meso, macro, and global level. And I remember my board at that time, I wasn't hired, but during the interview process, questioning me, what are you talking about global? What do you mean? And I said, Pittsburgh sits at the precipice of transforming humanity by its artificial intelligence and robotics, its medication sector, and its education sector. It's a three-legged stool. Our ability to optimize that sector is primarily charged by the role of nonprofits. They serve as the underbelly to our human ecosystem. Most people in this room have multiple degrees, live in a pretty nice lifestyle. When you consider the people that are served by 8,500 nonprofits in Southwestern PA that have incomes under $23,000, who live paycheck to paycheck, in many cases without resources or insurances, the work of this blood drive is literally life-giving. 43 months ago, when we froze our assets, we restructured our grant making. And when we rolled it back out, we increased our grant making by 400%. We focused on this notion that no single organization can solve the day's problems by themselves. Moreover, it required us to pull up our sleeves as brothers and sisters, as fathers and mothers, to serve a thing greater than us. Many people laughed. They called me up, asked me who did I think I was. Was I crazy? I said crazy about Pittsburgh. 78 weeks ago, we were asked by some politicians to intervene as a result of the dichotomy between the testing of people of color when COVID first hit, and we did initial analysis. I live in Highland Park, and we had 152 people tested for COVID. In the neighboring community which I grew up in, Larmer, had 16. And I questioned the validity of that. Basically understanding that essential workers were coming out of Homewood, not Highland Park. Our very humanity relies on our ability to understand our brothers and sisters at their most vulnerable moments. Blood is more than life-giving, it's life-altering, it's life-saving. What you're about to embark upon must be thought of, in my opinion, not as a transaction, but as a regenerative transformation process by which each time you interface with somebody, each time you think about your conversation you're having with people, you seek to touch them at the most human level of their existence. Over the last 43 months, I've been blessed to have people come on my team that have transformed our theory of change into a practice that is now reaching a global framework. In January, the Forbes Funds launched International Anti-Racism Wireframe Cohort under the leadership of Dr. Humphrey, who challenged us and our board to serve humanity in the most humane way possible across race, ethnicity, and socioeconomic strata. And people wondered, why the Forbes Funds? And I pushed back and said, why not? Ingenuity and innovation starts in your psyche. Think it, see it, and be it. When I was in Greece and people talked about wanting to come to Pittsburgh, and I'm from Pittsburgh, I looked at my wife and I wondered what they were talking about. Why would they want to come to Pittsburgh? So I kept pondering, and as the time went on in Greece, in Madrid, and Rome, people found out I was from Pittsburgh, and people would invite me to have drinks, have dinner, have coffee. And they were so enthralled by Pittsburgh's trajectory on a global level of artificial intelligence and robotics sector, that they were talking about packing up everything and moving here. And I was thinking, why am I staying here as a person of color? Coming here today reminds me that our most basic and fundamental element that defines us as a people is our ability to look in each other's faces, touch each other, and acknowledge that I am because we are, and we are because I am. Our success is not my success. Our success is the result of a group of people who work very hard, tirelessly, to serve something bigger and greater than us. 78 weeks ago, when that question was posed to me by public officials, we had a series of meetings with other public officials that did not go well. And so we reached out to, at that time, Secretary Levine, and posed a question to her, how might we reimagine, rethink, optimize our current ecosystem to better serve humanity as a result of COVID, recognizing the disproportionate impact on people of color associated with pre-existing conditions. We pitched a model to her. She loved it. She optimized us in a framework. And 78 weeks later, 200 epidemiologists, epigeneticists, bioethicists, researchers, 2 funders, and politicos meet 5 to 6 times a week to serve this city. That transformation could not have happened under another time. COVID forced us to look at our humanity. And for the first 40 weeks of this project, nobody got paid anything. And when we raised money for this project, nobody accepted a paycheck. They only wanted to support programs. Why am I sharing this story with you? This is not the work of the Forbes Funds. This is not our mantra. This is the work of a human being who cares about other human beings. We have pushed for the last 43 months a need for the sector to be transformed by its ability to iterate, to collaborate, to hold each other accountable. Today's mission is in line with our mission, and that's why we're here. This is a simple process. Look inside yourselves and ask yourselves, if you were on the table, what would you want and need? I've been on that table like Rachel 3 times. I never thought twice about where the blood was coming from. I was just blessed to be able to get it. I've given blood most of my life, but like many of us, we move away from our practices to take on new practices. So I'm humbled today to be in here. I'm humbled by Rachel's story. I'm humbled by the people in this room who will come out during the pandemic to serve the greater good of humanity. I will close with this as my team gets ready to move forward. I've been here for 57 years. We're at a precipice with regards to what matters. And I would challenge everybody in this room that in my 57 years here, Pittsburgh has made conceptual commitments to a lot of things, but not operational ones. Make a difference. Be the change you seek in the universe. This effort there's nothing more important to touching people than what you're talking about during the day. So I would ask you to broaden your minds as we begin to take on these processes, to iterate, to ideate, to collaborate. And I would say this, that I'm humbled to be here, I'm humbled to serve, and we're here for you. Thank you.